Shalom, shalom, everyone. Today we're going to talk about pearls in the scripture. We just thank you, Yahuwah Elohim, that you provide the wisdom that comes from you. It is a wisdom that the world absolutely cannot give. It doesn't come from anywhere but the beginning that you gave, that created, like a master craftsman. It is your wisdom that we are given, that we search out, that we seek, that we desire, that we might have understanding and be able to discern that which would make us prosperous for the kingdom, Father. I thank you, Yahuwah Elohim, that we can have the testimony of you who came to rescue us and follow your commands. Father, cause us in these trying times to seek out your wisdom. In your precious name, Yahuwah, who came to rescue us. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, so we're going to start at Matthew 7, verse 6. Oh, we're not going to go there yet. Matthew 7, 6. Do not give what is set apart to the dogs, nor throw your pearls before the pigs, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. Obviously, we all know that the pigs are unclean animals. Dogs are unclean animals. Pigs do not chew the cud. What is set apart? What is set apart? Do not give it to the dogs. Don't throw the pearls before the swine. Not to the dogs, not to the swine. Because they will turn around and they will rend you into pieces. So we see the word pearls is the Greek 3135, magaros, a pearl oyster. It's a pearl. We see in Matthew 7:6 in the Hebrew New Testament, right here, we see a pei, a nun, a yod, a nun, a yod. So we're looking at pei, nun, yod, nun. When I put this word into Google Translator, it said your pearls or your pearl. So we're looking at this word right here. If you do a trace back in the polyglot, you will not find a direct trace. There is one other word for mother of pearls that is in, I think it's Esther 1:6, but I could be wrong about the verse. It's really just, is it black or is it white? So when we look this word up, it's panin, from the same as H6434, probably a pearl, as round. Well, we're going to see that it is a pearl. It's just not a probably. And we trace it back to the ancient Hebrew lexicon. We find it. Here's our Strong's number, H6443. And we had the pei. Did I say wa? I meant yod. Pei, nun, yod, nun. But we have a ruby as a gem that glistened when turned. Well, if you look up the stone for Judah, which is a sardis, which is also a ruby, you'll find out that ruby goes back to the line for blood, because that's where a ruby belongs, because the line of the tribe of Judah shed his blood, and that should be the stone that's for them. Here, I believe Strong's got it correct, and that it is a pearl, and we're going to look at why. So we're going to trace it back to Proverbs 3. And we'll turn there. Let's pull up the, that's interesting. Let's pull up the E-sword. Proverbs 3. And it's in verse 15. Right there, there's our word. Pei Nun Yod Nun. Again in the Strongs. We see that it's a pearl. Probably a pearl. Again, we're going to show that it is a pearl. Alright, let me set that up a little better. And let me put it on this because those titles making me crazy. Okay, so we're going to look at Proverbs 3 and we're going to read from verse starting at 13. We're going to look at some of these words as we go. I didn't do a lot of slides today. I just haven't had time. We see, blessed is the man who has found wisdom. This is not the word Baruch that we usually see for blessed. This is the word Asher, happy, blessed, joyous. We see it actually means one who is happy, one who is quote-unquote blessed, is one whose life is lived straightly. The man that findeth wisdom has joy and is happy and is blessed because he's found the wisdom. Because he's found the wisdom of Yah. He's found it. He has squeezed it, quote unquote, in the sense of squeezing something out of its hidden place. Squeezed it out of its hidden place. It's hidden. It's hidden from the whole rest of the world because the carnal mind cannot discern spiritual things. Blessed, and I'm reading out of the ISR, even though I've got the King James up here for the Strong's numbers. Blessed, happy, righteous, straight is the man who has squeezed from its hidden place the wisdom of Yahuwah Elohim. And the man that getteth understanding. So we squeeze this wisdom out of its hidden place, but now we need to comprehend it. We need to understand it. We need to understand what to do with it as sons and daughters of the Most High Elohim. Just a quick look at understanding here. One able to plan and build. If we're going to have any type of intelligence, this is the type that we ought to have. The skill of the mind and hands to build. To build what? The kingdom, the house, the city. Repair the walls of Yahuwah Elohim. It doesn't come from the wisdom of the world, in the Greek they would say, Sophia. Before the tent is constructed, the location and orientation must be carefully considered according to weather, view, and size. The planning and building of a house, structure, or family. Because all those are contained within the city. For the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and its increase than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies. Well, I guess we'll just stay on that even though I hate the words. She is more precious than rubies. Okay, she is more precious than pearls. And I'm going to show you why. Not yet, though. LN. To be considered of value. Something of value. Unknown connection to the root. Well, I think it's a pretty good connection myself. The Kuf is a picture of the sun at the horizon and the gathering of the light. The Resh is a picture of the head of man. Combine these mean gather them in. The meeting or bringing together of people or objects by arrangement, don't believe in accident, or purchase. So, wisdom gathers them in. And what's beyond the pearls? The wisdom is more precious than pearls because it's beyond where the pearls is. Don't throw your wisdom. Don't throw your pearls. Don't throw away your entrance into the city before the swine. Because when you are called to gather at the gate, judgment is going to happen. Wisdom and the proper understanding and use thereof is, the word more isn't even here. It's precious like the pearl. Actually, it's beyond the pearl. She is more precious than pearls. And all the things that thou can desire are not to be compared to her. There is nothing else equal to that which comes from Yahuwah Elohim that will take you into the city. Length of days is in her right hand. I don't know what that word is. Length of days is in her right hands. That which will cover you, that comes from the loins, the seed. It's the seed. Length of days. Continuance of the seed is in her right hand. What's at the right hand of Yahuwah? It's his strength, his power and authority. It's the word. The word is wisdom. The language is wisdom. And in her left hand, riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. Looking for shalom? Search out the wisdom of Yahuwah Elohim. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her. The tree of life. Isn't that what we want to go back to, where the tree of life is? Isn't that what we're looking for? What's beyond? What's after this? Wisdom, the proper understanding of it, and putting it to use to plan and to build. It already knows what goes together. Are we going to pay attention and grab it and squeeze it out of its hidden place, that we might go to the place where the tree of life is planted in the garden of Elohim? She is a tree of life to them that grab hold tightly to it and use it to support them. All the wisdom of this world. I want to say it, and it's going to H-E double toothpicks in a handbasket. It don't mean nothing. I'm not saying you don't have to know how to maneuver through this world and be a sojourner. But that's not going to get us into the city, into the holy place, as the bride to the marriage supper of the Lamb. Wisdom is a tree of life. To them that lay hold of her, and straight, righteous, happy, assured, is every one that retaineth her. To hold up, to support, or steady. What are we using to steady ourselves with? What is supporting us? Are we retaining that? Or do we hear it and the bird comes along and eats it up right away? Do we have the cares of the world that choke it out? Are we in the rock? Don't have enough deep roots? Seek it out. Verse 20. By his knowledge the depths were broken up, and the clouds dropped down dew. My son, let them not depart from your eyes, like the frontlets of your eyes. My son, let them not depart from your eyes. Why? Because then you're going to be looking at the perversity. Keep your eyes focused on sound wisdom, being successful for the kingdom of Yahuwah Elohim. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. Yes, this says mischief. No, it doesn't mean mischievous. It means to devise a plan of action according to the wisdom of Yahuwah Elohim, so you will be successful in going into the city and being part of first the millennial reign, then into the holy place as kings and priests, then as the bride at the marriage supper of the Lamb. The second death will have no power over us. But at least be going into the city for the second resurrection. If we don't, but we're aiming for the first. So let's aim for the first. Let's seek out the wisdom of Yahuwah Elohim, that we might be righteous, holy, and set apart before him. Verse 22. Then they become life to your being. Life here. Living life to the fullest for the kingdom here. But life then, life everlasting, and an adorning and grace unto thy neck. And I just thought this was so beautiful. It actually doesn't show up well in here. 1066 AL2, it's your neck, right here. But it's really not a neck, like we think of a neck. It's the throat, as used in rumination, as chewing of the cud, which the pig does not do. When you are given the wisdom of Elohim as you're sojourning in this world, chew on it, and chew on it some more. Verse 23. Okay, I had to look something up. Verse 23. Maybe if I can get to it. Then you would walk safely in your way. You'd be clinging to safely Yahuwah Elohim. And your foot would not stumble. When you lie down, you need not be afraid. When you lie down to rest or to sleep, a lying down for copulation, when you are intimate with it, and you lie down to rest, be at peace, rest after the long journey, or to sleep, you will be at peace. Your sleep shall be sweet. It actually comes from shub, where we get teshuba, to shub. When we are intimate and repent and are pressed back to the tent, sought the wisdom, like Solomon, that was all he asked for. Did he blow it? Yeah, he took what was given to him and he didn't do maybe he didn't have the understanding that he should have of it, because he wouldn't have been doing what he was doing if he did, in my opinion. Shub, be pressed back to the tent and be intimate with Yahuwah Elohim. Why? Because you've not let wisdom, sound wisdom, that will make you successful, not success like we think it for the kingdom. Your sleep will be sweet. Be 24. No, 25. Do not be afraid of sudden fear. Do not be alarmed at these things that's going on. Continue to seek the wisdom of Yahuwah Elohim. It's not of this world. Neither of desolation. It's a crashing of thunder or waves as a desolating storm. And we know that the woman that rides the beast rides among the sea. It says on the sea, but she's actually among the sea of people. And it's like this, what did he call it? The perfect storm out here. Don't pay any attention to it. Do not be afraid of the wicked, the Rasha, the morally wrong, the desolation they're trying to bring when it comes. Seek the wisdom of Yahuwah Elohim, because it is beyond the pearls. It's the place we want to be. Withhold not good from them whom it is due. Oh wait, we missed a verse. 26. For Yahuwah shall exist as thy confidence, the seat of confidence, the loins. What comes from the loins? The seed. Have confidence in the wisdom that comes from the proper understanding and discernment to be successful of the seed. That is what our confidence should be in. That is what our boast should be in. That is what will take us beyond the pearls. Do not withhold good from those who deserve it, when it is in the power of your hand to do so. Do not say to your neighbor, go and come back, and tomorrow I give it. Physically or spiritually. When you have it with you, do not plan evil against your neighbor, dysfunction, seeing he dwells safely beside you. Do not strive with a man without cause, if he has done you no evil. Do not envy a cruel man, and choose none of his ways. For the perverse one is an abomination to Yahuwah. For the froward, for those who are perverse, is an abomination to Yahuwah. But his secret, his counsel, some of you have heard this, his sod, the level foundation, the sod of Yahuwah, a level piece of ground for planting crops or setting up structures, is with those who are Asher, same root line, those who are righteous, straight, holy, those who are of the remnant, that are seeking to squeeze out of its hidden place the wisdom of Yahuwah Elohim that is beyond the pearls. Not that we can't get it here, but that's where it comes from. It's been there since the beginning. The curse of Yahuwah is on the house. Oh, let's look at that. The curse. Here's what we don't want. The curse. One shows a curse by spitting because he's going to spit them out of his mouth. Either do it or don't. His curse spit them out of his mouth on the house of the wicked. To depart, one who has departed from the correct path or way. The curse to be spit out of his mouth is on the house of the wrong, but he blesses the home of the righteous. Now, he blesses. Presenting a gift or giving honor to another, because they're going to be what? Beit Resh, in the family of heads. The heads that are on top of the stalks of wheat or barley at the times of the harvests. That's the gift. To receive, to be where the tree of life is. To drink from the water of life. To receive the crown. Don't let anybody steal it from you. Search out and seek out her wisdom. He certainly scoffs the scoffers, but gives favor to the humble. The wise shall do inherit esteem, the esteem of a bride. A husband esteems his bride, but fools are bearing away shame. She is more precious than pearls, and all your delights, all that we could come up in this world, are not comparable to what's beyond the wisdom that comes, that will take us beyond the pearls. Okay, if I can get this to come up. I'm kind of set up kind of funny here today. Okay, we're going to read through Proverbs 8 and talk a little bit more about wisdom. So let's do that. Proverbs 8. Or part of it. I don't think we're going to read all of it. Does not wisdom cry out? Is she not calling us? Are we trying to squeeze her out of her hidden place? She is calling us to a meeting where a scroll will be read in the presence of all those called to the meeting. Not going through there without the scroll having been read, which will judge us, which is the instructions, the Torot of Yahuwah Elohim. That's what wisdom will give us. The ability, not only are we called, but to be chosen, to go beyond that place, the gates of the city. Does not wisdom call? And understanding as sons or daughters? Do we understand the voice when wisdom is crying out? Do we have the understanding as sons and daughters of the gift that is being put forth in the voice of the shepherd? Do we understand what he's saying that would gather us unto him? The call of the shepherd to the sheep who knew him by sound, because they know no other voice. Because they were searching for wisdom and they had understanding, they could hear the voice that would cause them to be successful. And they would quickly gather to him. How fast are we to gather to him? Are we going to follow at a distance like Peter? Spit you out of his mouth. Quickest way to get off the path. Been there, done it. Guilty. Guilty as charged. And on top of the heights along the way between the paths, she has taken her stand. She crieth at the gates. The entrance into the city, as well as activities carried out there, such as marketing and judging. She cries at the gates. Be gathered here, search me out, look for me, get understanding, hear my voice. Nothing unclean's going in there. Stops, buck stops right there. Nothing unclean is going into the entrance, at the mouth, anything that he did not breathe of that city. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, isn't that beautiful? That's not even the normal word I see for city. It goes back to right here. Wisdom's crying for you to come into the place of meeting within the city, either at the entrance or a high place. It's calling us. Oh, Father. At the coming, at the entrance, at the doors. Are we going through? Beyond the pearl? Nothing unclean is going. Verse 4. O men, I call, I cry, and my voice to the sons. What? To the sons. To the sons and to the daughters. Get understanding. You simple ones. You simple ones. One easily persuaded, seduced, or deceived. You simple ones. Oh, this is beautiful. The pictograph pay is a picture of an open mouth or hole. The taw is a post for hanging a standard. Combined, these mean a hole for a post. A hole made for inserting something, the act of intercourse. O you who are simple. O you who have fallen under the spell of the whore. Come, get under the standard of Yahuwah Elohim. Each of the tribes had a standard. Each of the tribes had a name. Each of the gates have a name. It's one of each of the tribes. O ye simple, us that are sometimes easily persuaded, seduced, or deceived into following the whore, understand, you sons and daughters. Understand what? Totally different word for wisdom. Understand the subtlety, craftiness of the serpent that was in the garden. We need to understand. We need to be so familiar with the truth that when the counterfeit looms on the horizon, we recognize it immediately. Be wise, subtle, crafty as a serpent, but unmixed, we see gentle as a dove. We need to understand the truth, so we recognize the lie. And ye fools, be of an understanding heart. Let it be the fullness of the authority that is inside of you, Yahuwah Elohim. Listen, for I speak noble words. For I speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips, the opening of the language which I have put forth, which is pure, only brings forth things that are right, things that are straight, things that the remnant can understand. For my mouth shall speak truth, right, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And wickedness is an abomination to my language in its proper order. Wickedness, anything off the correct path or that would cause us to leave the correct path, is an abomination to the language which he originally breathed, the L to the Ta. Get wisdom. So that when the counterfeit comes, you recognize it immediately. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness, none of them, twisted or crooked. None of them. None of his words lack the ability to bring you into the kingdom in its proper order, to cause you to be straight, righteous, pure, holy, and the remnant. It lacks nothing. His wisdom lacks nothing. El represents the ox. The noon is a seed. You see, Elohim's seed that he breathed from the El to the Ta lacks nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing forward, twisted, or perverse, crooked in them. There's one that does that. That's why we need to be so familiar with the truth that we can see the craftiness immediately as it looms on the horizon. Because it's very, like a snake slithers, it's very slick. They are plain. Wisdom's word with understanding is plain, straight, right, cause you to walk a straight line right in front of you. Well, to him that understandeth, what verse am I on? 9? And straight to those who find, who squeeze out of its hidden place knowledge. You have this intimate relationship with him. You gain this intimate relationship, and you have the knowledge that comes from the wisdom that causes you to understand and to be successful for the kingdom. It's not that it's not available, but it doesn't come from this side. It's not of the world. It's not of Sophia. Accept my discipline. Accept my instruction. Turn your head towards me. And not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than pearls. Wisdom will put you into the basket and secure you into the house of Elohim that is inside the city walls. and bring you and put you and in the face of, the presence of, before Yahuwah Elohim. Beyond the pearls. And all things, verse am I on now, 11? And all delights are not comparable to her. Can't remember what that is. There's nothing else like it. You won't find it in this world. Because it can't take you to the tree of life. I, wisdom, have dwelt with prudence, with insight. What? She's dealt with what? She's dwelt with craftiness or prudence? You mean the wisdom of Yahuwah Elohim in its proper order? I'm going to say recognizes, she recognizes, he recognizes, of course he does. Anything that's twisted or crooked that the enemy would try to slither in? Did that enemy dwell there once? Was it the covering cherub? Come on now. And I find knowledge, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of Yahuwah is to hate evil, to hate dysfunction. Pride and arrogancy and every dysfunctional way. And the forward mouth pours out the contents of everything prideful and arrogant and evil, pours out the contents. Phew. Let me do that again. Phew. Hates it, turns away from it, spits it out of his mouth. Counsel and sound wisdom, success. 14. Counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding. Mightiness is mine. I have understanding. I have strength. I will cause you to be a warrior in the family. Oh, that's not the right one. Same thing. In the family of heads. In the family of heads at the harvest. They have great strength. They have weathered the storm, just like the wheat or the barley crops have to weather a storm if one comes along. One of great strength, a warrior or authority, a master. Who's our leader? Yahuwah Zevot? By me sovereigns reign and rulers make righteous decrees. By me princes rule and nobles, all the judges of the earth. That's interesting. I love those who love me. Because he first loved us. Are we going to love him? He provides for those who look to him as the provider. He provides for them. Provide for the family. And those who earnestly seek me do find. Riches and esteem are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold and fine gold, and my increase than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of right ruling. I bestow substance on those who love me, and to fill their treasuries. Where's our treasure stored? Beyond the pearls, in the Shemaim, I can tell you that. Yahuwah possessed me. He is zealous that we have the wisdom that comes from the very beginning. Resh, Rashit, the first letter in the scriptures, the Resh. He possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old, at that point in time, at that time, in the beginning. It was always there. Before we were, before the earth was. I was set up from everlasting, beyond the field of vision of time or space. A distant time in the past or future is a time hidden from the present. I was set up ages ago, from the very beginning, first letter we see in the scriptures. Before the earth ever was. A time before, the distant past, not ages ago. Verse 24. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs heavy with water. Before mountains were sunk, before the hills, I was brought forth. Wisdom was brought forth. Everything in its proper order, from the L to the Taw, that comes off his lips is in its proper order, and it's the seed, and it was planted with the utmost wisdom, without twistedness or perversity. We need to be so familiar with that when the counterfeit looms on the horizon, we recognize it immediately. For he created, brought forth everything. I'm going to call it in his infinite wisdom, because I have no other words on this side to use for it. Before he had, verse 26. Before he had made the earth and the fields, or the first dust of the world, when he prepared the Shemayim, I was there. When he inscribed a circle on the face of the deep, when he set the clouds above, when he made the fountains of the deep strong, when he gave the sea its law, so that the waters would not transgress his mouth. All these were done in his infinite wisdom. Whose wisdom are we seeking? When he inscribed the foundations of the earth, verse 30. Then I was beside him, like me and my shadow, as one brought up. This was so beautiful. 1290 CC in the ancient Hebrew lexicon. Like a master craftsman, one who is firm in his talents. And what is firm? The truth. I was beside him, walking in the fullness of the truth, everything right to left, L to the Taw, where the blood, which is the likeness of the seed, continues in everything truthful, that as a master craftsman, in his infinite wisdom, he created by his seed, which is everything from the L to the Taw. And I was his delight day by day, rejoicing before him. Before him, in the face of, beyond the pearls, before him. rejoicing before him always. Rejoicing, 31. Rejoicing in the world, his earth, and my delights were with who? The sons of men. Doesn't mean his wisdom doesn't come here, but to get it comes from beyond the things of this earth. And now, at this time, a period of time is a moment or a season. Now is always right now. In 3 seconds, it'll be now again. At this time, be intimate, ayin, so you can be on the mark to receive the revelation of the wisdom that he is attempting to give you through understanding, and understand it as sons and daughters, so you can be successful for the kingdom and be so familiar with the truth of the master craftsman that you recognize the counterfeit immediately. Now therefore, Shema, hear all of it and obey. Obey. O ye children, be straight. Be straight. So you will be the remnant. Guard my ways. For blessed are they who guard my ways. Listen to discipline and become wise, and do not refuse it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts. Waiting at the posts. Mezuzah of my doors. For whoever finds me finds life. Whoever has the wisdom of Yah searches for it, gets it, has understanding as a son or a daughter, and is able to successfully maneuver the enemy's playing field, finds everlasting life. You shall obtain the favor of Yahuwah. You shall be able to carry that message now to others. But he that sinneth against me, transgression of the law, wrongeth his own soul, and all they that hate me love death. And that's what the enemies come to kill, to steal, and to destroy. Now, I'm not going to read chapter 9. I would encourage you all to go read it. Wisdom set in her table. Are we going to the banquet? Are we going to be at the marriage supper of the Lamb? Or are we going to go with the whore that it's spoken about in the end of that chapter? Interesting. All right, so now I'm going to try and get my little screen to come up here. Proverbs 31. Verses 10 to 12. Who does find a capable wife? Who does find a virtuous woman? Isn't that what we're supposed to be for Yahuwah? Yes, we're supposed to be that on the earth. But isn't this a bigger picture of Yahuwah and his bride? Who can find a virtuous woman? Who can find one that bores through the enemy by strongly pressing in? Who can find one? Can he? One that is searching and seeking for the wisdom, that wants to find it, and when they do, they use it to build the house with understanding as sons and daughters, to be successful, not only for themselves, but those that would come into the house, the rest of the family of Elohim, that they can recognize the counterfeit immediately, that we can reprove and correct, not as well as encourage each other. Who can find, squeeze out of its place, a virtuous, a capable wife? Her price is far beyond the pearls. Why? Why is it far beyond the pearls? Where is she going? Beyond the gates of the city. Because she's going to pass the judgment. Because she's followed the instructions. Because she loves him, the provider of the house, and points everyone to the one who provides for the house. The heart of her husband do safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good. She will cause everything he's put forth to be functional. Put fruit in the basket and secure everything into the house. I think it's interesting in the wedding ceremony we see the wife surrounding the basket 7 times. She will be functional and not dysfunctional for the kingdom all the days of her life, so that she goes on to eternal life. And she's not only feeding on that herself, but she's then able to feed others to come into the kingdom as well. I guess I had Isaiah 62 next. Actually, let's go to Revelation 21 to 27. I'm sure most of you have picked up what's beyond the pearls by this point, but 21 to 27. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Each one of the gates was a single pearl. And the street of the city was gold like transparent glass. Beyond the pearls, in the city of Yahuwah Elohim, is where we want to be. All wisdom that is clean and pure and righteous and holy and of lovely report, we seek that wisdom that comes from the other side. Right now, of course, the city has not come down. The new Yerushalayim comes down like a bride adorned for her husband. The gates are of pearl. Don't throw your entrance into the city, into the kingdom, into the house of Elohim before the swine, because they will trample it. The judging happens at the gates, because nothing clean is going to come in. Don't throw that away, that they would trample it, and the second death might therefore then have the possibility of having power over us. And I saw no dwelling place in it, for Yahuwah El Shaddai is its dwelling place, and the Lamb. And the city had no need of a sun, nor of the moon to shine in it, for the esteem of Elohim lighted it, and the Lamb is its lamp. And the nations of those who are saved shall walk in its light, because they came through the gate. They sought the wisdom of Yahuwah Elohim, even if it was after the time of the first resurrection. And the sovereigns of the earth bring their esteem into it. And the gates shall not be shut at all by day, for night shall not be there. This won't be anymore. We won't have to worry about night once we get through the single gates that are made of pearl. It's from beyond. The wisdom that's from the beginning is there. Everything in its right and true and proper order. His infinite wisdom that was the master craftsman. Who made this that we're reading now? It's not us. And they shall bring the esteem and the appreciation of the nations into it, and there shall by no means enter into it whatever is unclean. If it doesn't pass the judgment, it will not enter. At those gates where judgment takes place. Neither anyone doing abomination and falsehood, only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life, which we see will be opened. Back in chapter 20. Isaiah 62. For Zion's sake I am not silent, and for Yerushalayim's sake I do not rest, until her righteousness goes forth as brightness, and her deliverance as a lamp that burns. So, gone to Zion, had the millennial reign. Now for Yerushalayim's sake, he does not rest, not that he's not at rest, until her righteousness goes forth as brightness. Her garment is bright. The new Yerushalayim comes down as a bride. Can't imagine that there's anything dark about that. And her deliverance as a lamp that burns. He's the lamp that lights the whole thing. There's no need of the sun or the moon. She's been delivered. And the nations shall see your righteousness, and all the sovereigns your esteem, and you shall be called by a new name, which the mouth of Yahuwah designates. And you shall be a crown of comeliness in the hand of Yahuwah. Crown of life. And a royal headdress in the hand of your Elohim. No longer are you called forsaken, and no longer is your land called deserted, but you shall be called Hephzibah, and your land married, for Yahuwah shall delight in you, and your land shall be married. For as a young man marries a maiden, so shall your sons marry you. And as a bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall your Elohim rejoice over you. The new Yerushalayim comes down out of the Shemayim as a bride adorned for her husband. And I have set watchmen on your walls, O Yerushalayim, all the day and all the night, continually, who are not silent. You who remember Yahuwah, give yourselves no rest. The watchmen on the walls are not silent. Come. The Spirit and the bride say, come. And give him no rest till he establishes, until he makes Yerushalayim a praise in the earth. Well, that ain't now. Take a look over there. He's talking about the new Yerushalayim that has the gates with the 12 names. The 12 names of the tribes. Each one had a banner. Yahuwah has sworn by his right hand, his power, strength, and authority, by his word that cannot return void, and by the arm of his strength. No more do I give your grain to be food for your enemies, nor do the sons of the foreigner drink your new wine for which you have labored. But those gathering it shall eat it and praise Yahuwah. That's all there'll be to do. And those collecting it shall drink it in my set-apart courts. Pass through. Let's go there. Isaiah 62:10. Go through. Cross over. A bar. Cross over. Be part of the family of heads that fills not only the land during the millennial reign, but the new Yerushalayim. Cross over. Be a Hebrew. A bar. Cross over, cross over. Where? Through the gates, the entrance to the city, as well as the activities there, such as marketing and judging. Prepare. Turn to the face. To turn the face or to turn directions. Also to turn something back or away. Are we going to be allowed in at the gate? Have we turned our face fully to Yahuwah Elohim so that we can be fully in his presence? Have we sought out the wisdom that is beyond what we have here? Beyond the gate of the city, the pearl? Because wisdom and the bride is far above pearls because she's going beyond. Wisdom is beyond that comes from Yahuwah Elohim. We have to search it out. Build up the highway. Remove the stones. Lift up a standard. Lift up a banner for the people. There's a gate you're going in. It's got a name above it. Each tribe had a standard. Each tribe had a banner. See, Yahuwah has proclaimed to the end of the earth. Say to the daughter of Zion, here we are in Zion, first millennial reign, first resurrection. See, your deliverance has come. Why? Because the second resurrection has no power over those in the first. His reward is with him, and his work before him. What? To eat from the tree of life? What? The crown of righteousness? Or drink from the water? All of it. And they shall be called the set-apart people and redeemed of Yahuwah, and you shall be called sought out. You shall be called sought out. A city not forsaken. You were purchased as a bride, not forsaken, not left behind. Different word for city. This I do know. You are not outside. You have not been forsaken. You are in the city where you were called to gather with the men to go beyond the pearl, the gate, because he sought out a virtuous woman, a capable wife. And your price is far above that, because you've not only went through the judgment that happens at the gate, and now are actually the new Yerushalayim, picture of that comes down like a bride adorned for her husband, but the tribes enter in through those gates. What are we feeding people as watchmen on the wall? Matthew 13, 45 and 46. Again, the reign of the heavens is like a man, a merchant, seeking fine pearls. It's beyond. What are we looking to find? Who, when he had found one pearl, you're only going to go through one gate, one judge, there's going to be a judgment, went and sold all he had, and he bought it. Lose your life, and you'll save it. Save our lives here, and we're going to lose that one. Psalm 122, you can go and read it after this is over. Right now we're going to go to Matthew 7, where we started out. Do not judge, lest you be judged. Do not judge according to the wisdom of this world, but according to the wisdom that is beyond. For with what judgment you judge, if you judge with the wisdom of Yahuwah, you'll be judged by that. And that's a good thing, because it's in its proper order. It's the truth. But don't judge by external standards. Judge by true standards. And with the same measure you use, it shall be measured to you. And let's keep going. And why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but you do not notice the plank in your own eye? Or how is it that you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your eye, and see, a plank is in your own eye? I'd give you an example. If you are a drug addict, still using drugs, how are you going to help someone get off drugs? It's not going to happen. Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye. Seek wisdom, get understanding, use it to be successful, become so familiar with the truth that you recognize the counterfeit immediately. Then you shall see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eye. Do not give what is set apart to dogs, nor throw your entrance to the kingdom, the place that you will be judged. Don't give up that wisdom before the pigs, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. I'm not saying don't. There's a point in which you shake the dust off your feet, but they don't listen. Don't throw your entrance into the kingdom before them, so they try to trip you up. You have to have discernment. You have to be able to be wise as a serpent, yet unmixed and innocent as a dove, in order to see this as it's occurring. Ask and it shall be given to you. What are we asking for? Solomon asked for wisdom. Seek and you shall find. Seek it. We're going to get understanding of it. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. You'll be successful at getting into the opening into the kingdom. Let's finish reading. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it shall be open. Or is there a man among You who, if his son asks for bread, shall give him a stone? Or if he asks for fish, he shall give him a snake? We're asking Yahuwah, who first loved us, the provider of the house. We're not even going to do that in the physical realm. Here's a physical picture. If then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father, who is in the Shemayim, give what is good to those who ask him? What is Tob? That was puts you into the basket and secures you into the house. Therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the Torah and the prophets, to get people through into the city, into the inner court, into the Holy of Holies, to be the bride in the first resurrection, so the second death doesn't have any power over them, or just to get them in at least then through the gate. The bride isn't going under some other standard, some other tribal name. Enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter through it. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life eternal, and there are few who find it. Are we looking to be part of the new Yerushalayim? At this point, we are looking to be the bride and be under that standard going in. Are we looking to be in the inner court, gone up the steps, be kings and priests under Yahuwah Elohim? Are we looking to be in the Holy of Holies? Because the gate gets narrower as we head into this first resurrection. Father, we just thank you. Beyond the pearls, Father, beyond the pearl, we want the entrance into the kingdom to be part of the city, part of the bride, like the new Yerushalayim that comes down out of the Shemayim, adorned for her husband, because we have been virtuous, we have been capable, and our price is far above the pearls. Entrance into the city, passing the judgment of Yahuwah Elohim, because nothing unclean will enter. Yah, I ask that you give each of us a heart to seek you, to ask, to seek, to knock Yahuwah Elohim for life and life eternal. In your hallelujah, in Yahuwah's name, hallelujah.